the calf was about 50 yards from the house, which I think is right about where that white thing is there. It's the site where the calf was mutilated.
Yeah.
And so the rancher and his wife came out that morning. That was the first newborn calf that they encountered. They tagged the calf right here, and then they go off that way, about 200 yards, I think is what he said. They took about 25 minutes. They come to the next calf and they tag the ear there. And then the dog starts barking and making a noise back in this direction. And they look back and rush over, and this is where the mother, the cow, is running around in circles, clearly distressed. They go rushing over here, and then the calf is splayed out and the femur is thrown a couple of feet away. And when that happened, there was no observation post there, so you can see, you know, even further down that way. There's nothing to obstruct their view. And they should have been able to hear it. Sound carries out here. They didn't hear anything until the dog made a noise. Then they sent the samples off from the calf to be analyzed, and as we now know, there were 2 different metallic instruments that were used to carve it up. The conclusion was it was carved up somewhere other than right here.
Because there was no blood on the ground.
No blood on the ground. There was no noise made. There is no predator in the world that can eat 75 pounds of meat in a half an hour, or ever. So, you know, what did it? Presumably it was done somewhere else and then was dropped back here. Where is somewhere else? Who took it somewhere else? That's off sort of a chain reaction of other events. Then the next day is when the rancher, who is on high alert because he's lost so many cattle at that point, he hears his cattle in distress right down there. And he jumps in his truck and barrels down, and it's approximately where that big tree is down there. He goes barreling across this pasture, and then Colm and Eric Davis follow him in their truck, and we're shooting video. And the rancher jumps out of his truck. There's a great big black thing at the bottom of the tree, and he pops it, shoots it twice, and he yells out, "I hit it." And then he sees up in the tree these eyes, like this big yellow eyes, like lizard eyes, bird eyes, and he shoots that too. He hit it, and he knew he hit it, and the thing at the bottom of the tree just, poof, it was gone. Something falls out of the tree, leaves a print in the snow. There was still snow on the ground in some patches. They went after it, trying to find other tracks. That was the only track it left. No blood, no flesh, but he's pretty sure he hit that one as well. They brought in a tracker to look all around for animal tracks, human tracks, vehicle tracks, nothing. By the time I got involved, the rancher and his family were gone. Amazingly enough, after all that his family had been through for 20 months, he still wanted to stick around on the property. He stayed to be ranch manager. His family moved away, but he stayed. He wanted to figure this out. And so, you know, I'm sure that it still burns inside of him. This was his dream property. He wants to know what drove him off. What was it? If it wasn't the government, what the hell was it? And you know, I would hope that there is still enough interest in his heart that someday he will talk about it, but I don't know. But when he and his family finally left the basin, they wanted to be done with it. They wanted it behind them and they wanted to forget about it. I hope he'll talk at some point. Is it a hoax? Some of the incidents may be hoaxed, either by military or some other operatives we don't know about. Some of those things could be done. All of it? No. I mean, for a pretty simple reason that it's been going on for 250 years that we know of, before there was a U.S. government, before there was a Department of Defense. So people have been seeing those things for a long time. Was some of it the military? Some of it could be the military. We're told they have chameleon-type technology, invisibility cloaks that they've been working on, so that would explain some of it. But it doesn't explain all of it. What Special Forces Commando is doing the poltergeist stuff, goes in and, you know, and puts the groceries back in the bag, or pilfers the rancher's wife's hairbrush and puts it in the freezer. Who does that stuff? The more exotic explanations, I mean, aliens, I guess it could be aliens. UFOs, we associate with aliens. The fact is we really don't know where UFOs are from or why they're here or how the technology operates. So it doesn't really operate how our classical definition of aliens or understanding of what we think aliens are. It's not exactly fitting with what happened on the ranch. A parallel dimension, a portal, or a wormhole or something like that, maybe. I mean, some of the descriptions of events that happen on the ranch sound like that. You know, the hole in the sky and the other sky on the other side and things coming through. The tunnel of light that becomes a portal to something else the creature crawls through. That sounds like other dimensions. We don't really know. Crypto-terrestrials, some other kind of reality, some mega beings that this is their world. We just happen to be bugs who inhabit it. We're just not advanced enough to see them. They can inject themselves into our reality at will, and there's not much we can do about it. We don't know. Nobody knows. The military has had an interest in this. We know that for a fact now. We know that this ranch was studied. After the NIDS years, there was a study here, and it was funded by the U.S. government, by the Defense Intelligence Agency. This was part of a much bigger study of paranormal UFO phenomena, but this was a living lab. So I am sure that that is not the only program that has taken an interest in this. I think there was interest by more than the U.S. government. I think there were other governments that were interested, but that's a story that'll have to be told another time.
Spies.
Spies, yeah. They did not think that this was a spook story that was made up by somebody. They did not think it was a hoax. They thought it was important enough to dig into it and to study it over a couple of years. They found it to be credible. They didn't know what it was either, but they figured we'd better find out. Because if it's technology and it's somebody else's technology, we need to master it ourselves.